So I started doing this before I remembered to tape. Basically what we're doing with the appliances is down here we're going to run a thing of plastic, but then down here we basically just shove some paper in there along the sides all the way over the top onto the other side and then brought it underneath. Now we still got to mask that back portion there, but we'll just do that with another piece of paper. We'll be all good. So we found that when it comes to large appliances, the easiest thing for us to do if there's enough clearance is just to take some rosin paper and go right around it. It's easy to take off. It still allows access to the front of it for the clients. We will cover the front in plastic, but this way we can just, when we're done for the day, slice down that so that they can get back into their fridge. We'll cut the face off of that as well and do something around here too. Dishwasher is the same thing. Usually people aren't washing dishes really when they're having their kitchen refinished, but something to think about. All right, everybody, we are about to start spraying our primer. We're going to be spraying it via HVLP. Let's see here. This is an Apollo 7500. We are going to be spraying today Zinsser bin as our primer. That is actual bin. That is not the synthetic bin. The synthetic bin is garbage. To me, that's my opinion. This is shellac based. We have had 2 ounces of black universal tint added to it, which is the maximum amount. So if you can see, it's just a light gray. After we do everything in between there, we're going to go with General Finish's Enduro Black Poly in the satin finish. I love this product. I love Enduro from General Finishes because it's awesome. And we have tested a serious amount of products over the last few years. And this is just one that I keep coming back to. Anyways, we've got the room masked off. We've got our zip wall system put up. We've just covered everything just because this is black and we don't expect there to be blowback, but we'd really rather just not have any problems. We are venting. It's an Allegro industrial fan. So we are venting out here with a little pre-filter on it, and that's it. So we're gonna go ahead and spray. All right, so here we're applying the first coat of bin. Actually, we only did 1 coat of bin on this one. One thing that we forgot to take video of was before we put this in our 3M PPS cup, we strained it. We strain every product every time because there's garbage in every can. You can see here that Kyle is doing the interior face frames first, and the reason he does that is because once you do the interior face frames, you may have a little bit of overspray on the face itself, and then when you go back to do the face part at the end, you're spraying less product. You don't have to cover it so much because you've already touched it a little bit. You can see here that we have it all masked off. Kyle does have a piece of Foamular that we're just using as a little spray shield. It really wasn't necessary for this, but we figured it's always better to be safe than sorry. Other than that, just spraying the bin on, and this dries very, very fast. I believe it's sandable in about a half an hour. So usually when you've started a kitchen, I think this kitchen only took 20 minutes to spray, something like that, maybe less than that with the HVLP. And if you're doing it with airless, it'll go much faster. But you're definitely gonna have to wait for the product to dry, which it does quickly. All right, everybody, so we have sprayed the bin. It took 25 minutes because this is a super tiny little kitchen. And as you can see, if you paid attention, I touched the bin about 3 minutes after it was, 5 minutes after it was sprayed, and it's already dry to the touch. So we've taken a little bit of a break. We've come through. Now we're just going to inspect everything. we are going to sand with 320 grit paper. Depending on what you have for a sprayer, it can either be super duper smooth or not. If it feels pebbly, you might want to check your sprayer. I don't know if you've got an HVLP or what kind. However, you don't want it to feel super rough. That's an indication that either your fluid isn't high enough and it's drying and it's splattering. We don't want this to look like orange peel. You don't get a fine finish that way. So basically what we're going to do now, Kyle started doing, is just going through, sanding everything, making sure everything's nice and smooth, because we want these cabinets to feel like they were done in a factory. A lot of the times we can get it nicer than what came from the factory. So from here we're just going to sand, vacuum all the areas, tech, and then we're going to vacuum the floor as well, because we just want to keep the dust particles to a minimum when we do spray our general finishes in Duro Poly. We will be using our Festool because it really minimizes the dust. So with bin, it dries really quick and it doesn't run that much. If you do spray this with, not everybody has an HVLP set up, and that's totally cool. You can spray all these things with airless. You just need a small tip, and you need to move very fast. With airless, what happens is you get a lot of drips, especially on, let's say...
You want to show them over there, there is a drip.
Where?
Where the power cord is.
I saw that. So right there, we got one drip. No, we want to get rid of that. That's just because I think the hose, you got tripped on the hose and that happened, but you just want to watch out for that kind of thing. We want to just, of course, make sure that that's not there. If you are, again, doing airless, the tendency to drip is a lot higher. You really need to move fast. You can still get an amazing finish with an airless. In fact, I know a lot of really amazing craft people, that's what they use. Should we shout out to Snakebite? What's up, Snakebite? Anyways, this product, because it is a waterborne lacquer that we are going to spray, here we go, is much thinner than if you were using a traditional paint. This is made for cabinetry. This is not advanced. This is not, this isn't trim paint. This is a waterborne lacquer, and you can get an amazing finish. We only use products that have been approved or meet or exceed the KCMA standards. And the KCMA is the Kitchen Cabinet Manufacturers of America, and they have certain tests that are done for durability, chemical resistance, resistance against coffee, mustard, acetone, things like that. And any product that you use should be made for a kitchen. It should be made to hold up the abuses of a kitchen. I'm sorry, but again, my opinion, chalk paint is not made to hold up to that.
I'm showing how much came off. Just like
Yeah.
that section
So
there.
Kyle has sanded, and also we've gone through with the tech cloth, and that's how much dust we're pulling off of it. Realistically, not a lot because we have a fine finish sprayer. However, we don't want to leave that on there, and that's why we sand in between each coat. So that's it. Okay, one other thing that we want to watch out for when we're doing this, if we go too heavy, you see you get little golf ball patterns right there. This was a stupid one. We usually take these off, but they're like welded on. So this right here, we want to make sure that we can sand that flush, and then of course vacuum and tack. You can see all this, very nice, super smooth. It's just kind of a pain in the butt area. Okay, here's one thing that I'll get a question about a lot is if you've done any cabinets before, you will know that 98% of houses that have been built within the last 20 years or even 50 years. I mean, what it is the faces of the cabinets. These part right here, or this part right here. So this here, and the doors are the only parts that are wood. Underneath, ooh, got a miss there. Underneath, this is all melamine. This is MDF with a vinyl sticker on it. And people are always worried, will your finishes stick to that? Now, that really depends upon what you use. Again, we're using Zinsser bin. And the answer is yes. We have yet to have an issue. And this has been sprayed. Now, this is a really beat up. The vinyl was bubbling in quite a few places. Or not bubbling, but it just seen a lot of life. Okay? So, Zinsser bin. We're scratching it and nothing's happening, okay? And this is, what? An hour later. It doesn't even need to last that long. Realistically, what we're seeing here is we had to be very careful when we were sanding this because it's just falling apart. However, these are just bumps in the vinyl sticker because there's been so much water damage to this kitchen. It just kind of wants to bump up, and that's the wood swelling underneath. So we're almost done sanding, and then we're going to get to the black poly, and I will show you how we prepare that. I didn't do that with the bin, however, we'll do that too. Alright everybody, we have sanded. Kyle's finishing up sanding right now. We are tack clothing. So I wanted to show you just one of the setups that I use and how we prepare our final top coat, or our top coats before we even put it in the gun. So I have one of my guns is a 3M AccuSpray HVLP. All my guns have the AccuSpray setup system, and what that is an adapter that goes to this system, 3M AccuSpray system, which hooks up to here somewhere. And what that does is this allows me to, one, I don't have to clean out a cup every single time that I want to do something. You buy these plastic liners. I buy the giant ones because we spray a lot. And what happens is, put this in here, okay? You strain your product. You put it in and all that stuff. And what it allows you to do is spray upside down, in boxes. You can spray horizontally, vertically, anything, because it's suction fed. So it's not gravity fed, where you have to worry about the angle of your gun or else you're going to get a spit. This, you can spray it any way you want. That's why I like it, and that's why all my guns are set up to this. You know, it's, you gotta buy it, the liners and stuff in bulk, and it kind of at times can seem like a pain in the butt because, I don't know, 75 bucks for a box of 25 things is what it is. It's just much easier for me. And I really hate cleaning things like brushes. Anyways, we got our General Finish Enduro Poly. This is right from the factory, East Troy, Wisconsin. Awesome, very cool people there, make amazing products. That being said, we're still going to strain it. We strain everything. Now, the PPS top, even though we already strain it once, the PPS liners have, I don't know if you can see that, there's a mesh in there too. So if anything gets past that for some reason, or if it's sitting in the gun for too long, this catches it, and it will catch things. So it's always good to have backups, because nothing's worse than spraying your final coat and a giant chunk of paint boogers shooting on the thing. So black. The darkness is spreading, Kyle.
Look at that.
at this beautiful product. Always stir from the bottom. Don't want to stir too much. Inky. I think we're gonna try the thing. Let's see how this works. So there's this. It's a little sippy cup for paint. My mother gave this to me. I think it's a fantastic idea because I don't like it when stuff gets on the side of it. Because I have issues.
A little bit of OCD there.
A little bit of OCD. Wipe that off. See how this works, dude. I hope it's really easy to learn. So this is the first time using one of these, so I don't know how it's gonna go. I'm a little terrified, honestly. Kyle, are you ready for things to go awfully wrong?
Always.
That's the way the cookie crumbles. Let's see how it goes. Ooh, it's got a carb.
A what?
It's got a carb, like a little shotgun thing. And that's how you know we're from Wisconsin. So, look at that. This is awesome. Kyle, look at it. It's perfect.
Sweet.
Isn't that nice?
That is nice.
So my mother gave this to me, but I have seen it online, and I was like, oh, I want to check that out. And I love it. I don't know how well it keeps the paint, but whatever. I think it's supposed to go down somehow, too. Oh, look at that. Look at that cow. It collapses.
Ooh.
Isn't that fancy? I'm sold. Sureline. Do not use with oil-based coatings. Alright, good. Gonna take that out.
I'm gonna roll the sackcloth real quick around the base.
Okay. So, we're making sure that we seal. Press on this real nice. Take our 3M PPS collar. And then there's a little trick to put it on. It's not that difficult. You take this. Put it on all the way. Click it over so it's locked in. And there we go. We're ready to spray. On this one, this is the fluid and this is the pattern. So we have our layers of things underneath the countertop for the station that we're going to be working on. We don't want to damage anything. We have plastic underneath. We have an old drop cloth underneath that. And then we have a piece of rosin paper here because we want to test our spray pattern. And as you can see, we've done that. It's good to dial it in, make sure we have the right amount of product coming out. All right, Kyle's going through. We're just going 2 times speed here. He's applying the first coat of black poly. It's not going to be completely opaque. Is that the right word for that?
Yep.
Correct. All right, I had to double check there. It's not going to be completely opaque on the first shot around. It takes multiple coats, especially with such a dark color. Now, as you can see, we're doing it the same way that the primer was sprayed on. you're really gonna want to try and make the color cover in the first shot, but don't do that because that's how you get drips. The product is very thin, just along the same lines as the bin. As for viscosity, it will want to drip, and it does dry incredibly fast as well. So we're just going through here. Again, this kitchen is white. I mean, all the walls and the ceilings, everything in this kitchen is white, and we're going black. So we do definitely use a spray shield for this part. And here we're just going around the kitchen, basically doing the same thing. Once we get around the corner here, right here we actually had to redo this section. When you're doing a large surface like this, it's important that you spray it all going in one direction. You don't stop halfway through and then go the other direction, because what you're going to have is your dry spray on one side is going to be meeting the spray on the other side, and you're going to have a rough patch in the middle. So we just, especially on the finished coats, we just sanded this and reapplied. All right, so you can see here, even on the first coat, using this product, and this is one of the reasons why we use this product, is how fine of a finish we can achieve with it. You can see just the richness, the reflectivity. Is that even a word? I don't know. How beautiful of a finish we can get. We're not getting dimples or anything like that with it, especially with the sprayers that we use. So it's a really good product. All right, so we have the kitchen coated with black. We are going through, as I had said before, we sanded between every single coat, just to double check and make sure everything's as fine as possible. At this point, we're using these 3M ultrafine little patty thingies because Kyle's a champion and his spray game is on point, and we have no contamination or issues, so it feels like a dream. All right, everybody, we have one coat on. It is looking like a piano finish. Now, because we are doing black, it's incredibly important. Well, we did it already, but we sanded everything one more time. You want to make sure you don't go too low of a grit, otherwise you'll be able to see problems or the streaks from the sandpaper. So we're at 320, and then we went to the ultrafine sanding pad. We are now going to apply the second coat. All right, because we didn't have any music to go over this or anything like that, I just want to take a time to mention there's a lot of things on the internet, Pinterest and Facebook, about no prep kitchens. It's a multi-day process, and depending on how big it is, it's a multi-week, and you always have to prep. We could not get as perfect as a finish as we got with this if we didn't do that. All right, this is after the finish coat. Take a look at that. That is gorgeous. I don't know what else to say than that. It's phenomenal. All right, everybody. Final coat sprayed. It is looking beautiful. It's feeling like a piano. That's awesome. Kyle's man. So the one thing that we wanted to talk about, we took a bunch of our big equipment out of here. Got a ladder. We still have our turbine unit down there. We still have our hose. We still have the gun. What we're going to do now is we're going to clean up, and we're going to remove the masking from the boxes. And there's a particular way that we're going to do that. We're going to remove the tape from the walls and the ceiling. There's a particular way that we do that as well. So believe it or not, there's a specific way to pull tape, and that is at the angle that Kyle is currently pulling it. So make sure we get as clean of a line as humanly possible. I got paint all over my phone. You don't want to just yank on it, you take it nicely. Alright, because of the way we tape this, we want to start at the bottom. Okay, so push it out very nicely. Now you want to be careful because if the melamine sticker, the vinyl sticker down on the bottom is junky, or I don't know if it's just garbage, which it is a lot of the times. You got to pull that bottom one slowly, otherwise it will tear it up. Got on the inside, you can pretty much just go ahead. A little touch up right there. Okay. So the other thing is, no, don't do that. There we go. Here's the inside. Now right here, there's usually little ridges. So basically, we just take our finger and knock those down, because they will knock down. And be careful because it can be sharp. You don't want anybody getting hurt. It's usually not the cabinets that you have to worry about being super nice to unmask them. It's the walls and anything you mask around. I can't even think of how many times, you know, a piece of paint has come off the wall that we had nothing to do with. We just taped it. So it's something you got to be real careful for. I did hear a really good trick for it, and that was in one of the chat rooms online. And they said what they did was they came through with a blow dryer and heated the tape up before they pulled it off so it didn't stick. That's a great thing. Kyle's not saying a word, but I can hear what he's thinking, and it's I don't want to be affiliated with that clown or his products. Kyle's absolutely right. Oop, wrong way.
What?
I keep messing around with the controls on this. So the masking, this is how it should look. We got some dust here, which is gonna happen right now. All right, everybody. So, if you remember correctly, what we did, because this is a wood floor, is we laid down a line of yellow tape, and then on top of that, we attached our rosin paper with the PG5 masking tape.
Because the paper moves.
It's because the paper moves. And also, you don't want a problem when it comes to someone's very expensive floor.
You do not want to see any paint when you fold that line.
Don't want no issues.
You want it like that.
You want it perfect. No problems. Beautiful. See exactly what we're talking about here. Did that and then this. When you're walking around on this floor, it's going to want to move around. It's going to want to shift. And that's why we do that. Because it's better to not have an issue and spend some extra time prepping than finish an absolutely gorgeous set of cabinets and then pull your tape and find out you've got a problem. All right, this is one of the most important parts of the job for us. We always make sure we vacuum everything completely. A lot of contractors will come in and leave someone's house a mess expecting them to clean up after them. And you know what? We get great reviews by just cleaning up after ourselves. So this is how we're going to leave their house. All the boxes have been sprayed. Everything has been cleaned up. Everything has been vacuumed. All the countertops and appliances have been wiped down. Realistically, we just want to make sure that their house is completely clean in all the areas that we worked in. That's about it.